How you doing, folks? I'm gonna get into my journey as a traditional archer, and when I'm kind of breaking it down by months, all the way up to present. So I'm gonna be doing between my 4th month and 6th month, where I started shooting 3D and started trying to figure out how to tune. So I had some ups and downs on that, and I'm getting ready to share that with you. So when I got up to about my about 3rd, 4th month, I started kind of branching out, trying different things as far as shooting, and I'd even set up a swinging ball, had fun with that, and went to I went to a 3D shoot, and my first ever 3D shoot, and I went and I got up with some guys there. I asked if I could shoot with them because I was going to shoot by myself, so I ended up shooting with them through the course, and my actual score when I started was about a 155. I was shooting a Bear Grizzly, 45 pound. I think at that time I left my arrows long with a 125 grain tip, and we took a break, and seen like a little novelty shoot. Somebody had like a little shop vac set up to where it could have a levitating ping pong ball. I was like looking at that, so man, I'm gonna try that. I've been messing around with swinging tennis balls and all that, trying to mess with it, and they end up running across some other friends, so I ended up went through the course again, and I had some guys that had been shooting a while on this other group, and one guy was looking at me and said, "Man, you got pretty good form." I said, "Well, I mean, I ain't been shooting that long, probably about 4 months." And he said, "You're going to be pretty good." That kind of, made me feel good, and started, to really grab it, and I kept that in my mind, and that does help when somebody encourage you along. It kind of gives you a little more confidence and a little bit more drive to stay with it. Shooting a 155 the first go around ever, and only been shooting 4 months. I mean, I was happy as a clam. Even though it was 25 targets, I was still happy. I mean, that was like, my best score. So I had a starting point that I wanted to beat. And, I think the next 3D tournament, I think I beat it by 3 points, 3 or 4 points, something like that. And I was still happy. It wasn't the greatest high score, but I was still happy. I was improving. So that's one thing, trying to make a transition. You got to make the best of what you got, and start looking at the positive. I am making improvements, and other people notice it. At the time, it seems to be kind of rough sometimes. I got to where it got a little aggravating, but, a lot of things do when you first get into it. It's just a big learning curve. Then when I got done with that 3D tournament, after a little bit, I was wanting to get better air flight, so I ended up trying to tune. I watched a lot of videos, and I watched some actually good solid videos, but at the time I should have waited another several months before I even tried to start tuning. And the reason being is my form wasn't fully developed. I didn't have that clean of a release, so I kind of thought, I'll give her a shot, and started. I think I cut like a dozen arrows. I had to go to an archery shop. Now I got something to cut with, and got a little bit better sense about what I'm doing as far as tuning. And I asked the guy, it's going to take me a little bit. You don't mind cutting them? Just charge me whatever, and I'll just pay you for it. I was out there shooting, and my arrows end up being too short. I thought they were flying good. And after a while, I was like, man, I just wasted a bunch of money. I had some gold tip blims which, you know, I wasn't out of a whole lot of money, but I was out some money. And I had to rebuy arrows and start all over again, but I waited a little bit longer after that little learning curve. So if you haven't really got your form a fairly good clean release, you'll get a bunch of false readings and thinking, you know, it's, you know, flying knock, it's flying weak, and in reality it may not be. I wouldn't suggest to start tuning until, like for myself, I should have waited about 8 months. And when I tuned those arrows, they were down to about 30 inches, and when my release got better, I started getting funky arrow flight. So I was thinking it was my knock height, this and this and this, and it ended up being, you know, I started getting a little better, and the stuff was actually flying stiff. So I didn't have no idea about point weight, and have point weight weaken the spine and make them fly better. That's not the ideal thing to do after you done cut them short. But, you know, I made that mistake, and it cost me a little bit of money. So, and my advice would be wait a little bit longer if you're just starting out. You know, I would wait until you start getting more consistent, you know, with your release. It's cleaner, it's clean, close to clean, you know, because I still work on my release, my bow arm, and all that up to now. So after that little incident, I waited a little bit longer, and then my release got better and a lot smoother. Then I retuned, and it actually come out better the second go around. Some things I still didn't understand. I had a guy tell me, "Has you ever tried to tune your FOC?" Which at the time I didn't really understand what he was saying. It took me up till probably just a few months ago to it finally just the lights came on with what he was saying. And I told him, "No, I mean, what are you talking about?" He said, "Never mind. You know, it's a little bit far above what you need to be thinking about right now." And I figured it out later from another video. It's like, oh, that's what he meant, was basically add point weight and play with it and see how your arrow flies. And I did that, and I finally got a good tune, and I started just shooting just like it was. But going back to that 3D tournament, when we had that levitating ping pong ball, it's like $1 a shot. When I came through the second time, I went, I just gave the man $6. You know, I got 6 shots, and it was about, I'm guessing about 10 yards, and watching that ball float around, and when the wind blows, it makes it drop. So I started looking at it, and I hit it 3 out of the 6 times. I tied a guy that actually I shot with the second go round, but he already left, was going to have a shoot off. I was like, man, that'd have been like, you know, awesome. But that little floating ping pong ball, it got me to where I was concentrating more on my target before I, you know, instead of being in a hurry, actually concentrate on it, draw back and shoot. So I hit it 3 out of the 6 times. You know, only been shooting 4 months, so you know, that's a fun little thing to do, is, you know, make yourself have like fun little shoots in your practice or whatnot. And that's what I did at home. And I did my normal practice, then I would kind of let myself branch out a little bit more. But after it got long in time, you know, I got up to about a year, which everything started getting better, way better. And then I switched, this past February, I switched to a longbow, which I bought in Bear, Montana, which was right around February when I bought it of this year, and I started playing with it. And by that time, I've already got like 5 to 6 recurves already. So now I got 5 recurves and 2 longbows. I started shooting at Bear, Montana more, and I actually set it up for split. Then you know, and I started shooting a longbow. Split finger, and I was actually doing good. I was able to get out a little bit more out to about 30 yards. I mean, I've been shooting 30 yards at about 11 months, 10 to 11 months, and stretching myself out, and sometimes I'll just go on out to 40 and just watch it fly and check my release and see if my arrows, I didn't really care whether I hit the target or if I fell short, as long as it was in line where I was aiming at or looking at or aiming or whatever. And when I release, so that tells me my release and my bow arm and everything was consistent. And I always worked on my form. And this is my basement, so I got a target in here that in night, you know, it was dark, I just work on my form, shooting at a short distance, just working on form and making it consistent. And it don't take a lot of yardage to work on your form. You can work on it at 3 yards, you can work on it at 5, you can work on it at 10, you can work on it at 20. But you know, if you got a little place like a little basement or a garage where you can just shoot and just work on your form, that'll help you in the long run and a lot faster. And you don't have to take as many shots, and you just sit there and just take your time and just shoot, and just make sure you hit all your anchor points the same, and it just helps you be more consistent. So you know, when I was doing that and I got to shooting that longbow, I picked up that longbow fairly quick. So I was really enjoy shooting it. I did all kinds of stuff. I was trying to get ready for my second season of hunting, which is this year, which it's already started here now. But I just strictly shot one bow, and I shot that longbow. And this is one piece. All my stuff's one piece. So, and I just shot it. I was getting better with it, and I ended up deciding to try 3 under, just off a whim. And you know, I figured I'd try it. We'll do a video on it and see. I started shooting it, and I shot it at about 30 yards. Then my groups tightened up. I was like, whoa, you know, I was having a pretty good time with that, and I started getting even more better, and I started concentrating more on my form and getting it better, my release a lot more cleaner. And you know, and that's the big key to it, is if you have good form, you know, that's going to help you in the long run. I mean, you'll be able to shoot any bow, arrow. You know, if you're tuned, sometimes some people I've heard that can shoot, like their spine would be kind of not the right spine, but it'll still shoot with fletching, and it might be all over the place with a bear shaft, but with fletching it's fairly close, you know. And that's all I did, was I still constantly work on my form, my release, my follow through, and that's a big thing. And but you know, after all that, you know, I started getting better and better and better. So here at the end now, I started really focusing on tuning. I tuned the Bear Montana. I think I had full length 400s. It's a 55-pound bow, and I stuck 200 grains up front. Split finger. My bear shafts were flying like bullets, and my arrows were flying the same way. No twist, no nothing. And then I just kept shooting the same bow, and that does also help. Having one bow that you're familiar with will help you a lot better, because it takes a little time to get to know a different bow, which I'm shooting a different bow now, which is a Damon Howitt, which is a Martin bow, Savannah Stealth longbow. It's a 62 inch, but it's a hybrid, which is a wider limb bow, and it's more kind of across from a recurve, but it's a longbow, and it's got a lot of reflex deflex to it, more than most longbows would have. But it shoots really well, and That's about, up to my point now, up to about a year, a little over a year. Just like I said, I'm getting ready to hit my second year in shooting, and I've had a lot of people help me out, and on my next video, I'm gonna kind of mention some of those people and how they helped me in different aspects to get me where I'm at right now. So I hope this video helps you, and thank you for watching my videos, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and I hope you subscribe to my channel. I hope y'all have a great day, and God bless.